Lil Uzi Vert and Rock Nation sued by former assistant for sexual harassment and labor violations. Uzi allegedly sent explicit texts and made her work for JT without payout. All right, let's get some more context. What do we got here? As of the 10th or October 27, 25, the case is active with a brief conference set for, what is that, 3/25/26 next year. Register of actions. Okay. Case management conference. Oh, that looks like docket entries. Okay. Yeah. So this definitely is an active lawsuit then in case. Notice of case assignment. Unlimited civil case filed by the clerk. Okay. All right. Let's see some of the stuff that's going on. That's the big call outs, though. Look up here. We see Jane Doe. So the girl isn't being named. They got her face up here, though. Is this her? Damn, they already identifying her. And over here in the caption, it says Aurelia Annis. So they look like they got her by first and last name already, even though the paperwork only got her identified as a John Doe. And I just clicked this Instagram at on the side, and it's definitely not the same person. So I don't know about that name. But anyway, she's listed on the joint as John Doe as the plaintiff. Look at this being verse. Rock Nation. Simon Biz. Who's that? Woods? Who's that? Oh, DBA Lil Uzi Vert. Okay. And then they put Uzi Vert LLC, so his company as well, and does 1 through 10 in inconclusive defendants. Who's 1 through 10? Bunch of John Does and Jane Does and other people that's going to fall under these accusations as well. All right, so it says workplace sexual harassment prohibited under California Fair Housing and Employment Act, failure to pay overtime compensation, failure to properly reimburse business expenses, violation of California Labor Code, constructive so a lot of that corporate related shit that absolutely hit like you got a corporate America job and you don't pay for overtime, you don't give the ability to expense business expense. Like for example, I'm traveling for work. They're going to give you a corporate Amex or a corporate credit card to pay up to a certain per diem of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even sometimes if you have to entertain other people that's aligned with the business purposes, like you go out to even like a company dinner or you entertain vendors or third party people that you're trying to do business deals with or whatever, that should fall under your business expenses, right? If you never get reimbursed for that type of stuff, you're going to be able to go to court for it. All right. The violation and the labor codes. You know, when I hear stuff like that, I'll be thinking about uh some of your um some of your rights as an employee. This is some stuff as a contract as well, but definitely rights as an employee when you sign on for extended work and agreements with a particular entity, a LLC, a governing body, whatever the case may be. But I think everybody, of course, is going to focus on that first one, the sexual harassment. Okay. And miraculously, I think it's going to be the lightest one. But anyway, let's see. Claims, discrimination claims, employment discrimination claims, sexual harassment, wage and hour claims. Summary. Rock Nation and rapper Lil Uzi Vert were named in an employment discrimination lawsuit in October in California Superior Court for Los Angeles County. The action was filed by Ellis George on behalf of a former personal assistant who contends that she was subjected to president sexual harassment through text messages and verbal comments, was forced to be available 24/7 while traveling throughout the US, Europe, Asia, Australia, and claims that she worked 12 to 39-hour shifts without overtime pay, ultimately leading to the resignation after experiencing drug-fueled retaliation and a hostile work environment. I'm telling you, from a corporate standpoint, what I'm reading right here, that shit really goes in corporate America. It really, really does. Retaliation within its own is a big deal. They be trying to have HR represent stuff like that. Like, I have a problem with the company not reimbursing me, and I went to the finance department about it and put in a formal complaint. Now, all of a sudden, my boss, because he rides out for the company, starts making me work extended hours. That's categorized as retaliation. All right, and you get in a lot of trouble for that type of shit. But all right, what are they pointing out here in the actual paperwork? They're pointing out what looks to be one of the text messages. Okay, sexual demands and advances such as the following: I sent you something on Vanish. Okay, it's probably an Instagram little post, whatever. I'm not gonna speculate. Come rub me down before you leave. I'm by myself right now. Send me something. Let me see that booty. Okay. Um, I'll move on from that. They got more of the paperwork here. I don't care about the jurisdiction. We know how we feel about that part of the paperwork. But Plaintiff Doe is informed and believes that defendant, I believe this is the real government name here of Uzi Vert, is an individual doing business as Lil Uzi Vert. Okay, so we got that. Plaintiff is informed and believes that defendant Rock Nation and all relevant times was incorporated in the state of Delaware. I feel like the Rock Nation stuff is going to be the corporate stuff, and Lil Uzi Vert is probably going to be the sexual harassment stuff, allegedly from the text messages that we just read. All right. Plaintiff Doe is informed and believes that the defendant Uzi Vert LLC and that all relevant times was formed in the state of so even the LLC outside of Rock Nation starts to target the company type of dealings, and that's where you can have those violations of certain codes as well under California law. I get it. All right, the true names and capacities, whether individual or corporate associate or otherwise, of defendant identified herein, those 1 through 50. Is that just other people that's working for the company that might be aware of these type of issues? For example, let's say the finance department got 30 people in there and I'm submitting these claims for reimbursement. I'm not getting my bread back. They become one of the does in this paperwork. That's probably why all those numbers now, those names from the opening letterhead that or the opening page of the lawsuit that we saw. Okay, I get it. What's the point to right here? General allegations. On June 2nd, 2022, defendant Woods manager Amina Diop contacted plaintiff Doe to get her information and set a salary of $50,000. Plaintiff Doe will be paid through Uzi Vert LLC and limited liability corporations run by Miss Diop. Okay, this other one, number 21, is pointing to from her first week of employment onwards, Plaintiff Doe was expected to be available by phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was expected to respond to text messages or phone calls immediately. And when she failed to do so, she was bullied in group chats by members of defendant Wood's management team. I get it. I'm pretty sure if that was my work conditions and if I was in a lawsuit, I'd put it in there too. But I do want to stay objectively open-minded there because we saw that type of stuff in the Diddy case. For example, people saying I'm working 20-hour days. And then there was other people coming out against that and said 20-hour day just sounds like New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what's the circumstances of the 20 hours? Now, of course, you got these labor laws and whatnot saying, hey, you're not supposed to work past a 8 or 10-hour shift day without these type of circumstances or this type of overtime payment and whatnot. Yeah, there's laws and all that, but there could be circumstances that a defendant can come and say, for example, yes, you're on tap 24 hours, 7 days a week, but that's the case with a lot of different jobs, right? Certain authorities are on tap 24/7. My lawyer might be on tap 24. I mean, a fireman 24/7, right? That bell might go off and they got to go jump into the fire truck and go, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully save some people out of a burning building, right? So there's different circumstances. Like now, just because you need to be available for me 24/7, 7 days a week, that's possibly because of the nature of what I need you to do and what I do. I'm moving around doing clubs. I might be working at 3 o'clock in the morning consistently during the week because I'm a whole rapper, and I'm getting money out of these venues and clubs and bookings, right? I might need you for certain stuff around that time. But does the amount surpass, for example, 40 hours in the whole week? And if so, how is that compensation being handled and that work-life balance and all that type of stuff being? I'm telling you, I'm just looking over this paperwork, little pieces that they're pulling out, and I see. Sometimes I see some of this stuff, y'all, and we be like, another frivolous joint, somebody trying to pull some money from a celebrity. I'm seeing stuff that corporate-wise, definitely you're gonna have a problem. During July 2022, plaintiff Doe began to compare her working hours with her promised 50,000 in salary. When plaintiff Doe realized that her salary did not match the hours she actually spent working, she contacted Mr. Diop, Miss Diop, with a request for additional compensation and questions regarding reimbursement for her growing business expenses. That's another thing, the expenses. What's this one that's being pointed out? On the same day, defendant Woods texts plaintiff Doe and asked her to stay at the nightclub with him at his hotel room, despite plaintiff Doe stating that she did not feel comfortable with defendant Wood's request. He continued to pester her, sending her dozens of messages in the effort to convince her to sleep in his room, in her hotel room. Okay. Um, what's this? Send me something on Vanish. So we read these earlier. The text message allegedly. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. We don't need to go through all of this. I get it. So I'll say this. The corporate side, it's all gonna come down to black and white numbers, hours, money, contract, compensation, expense reports, all of that. That's gonna be black and white. That should be very easy to sort out from both sides. Okay. Discovery process, rights, wrongs, that should be done. The sexual harassment piece, though, if she is signed on to working for Uzi Vert's LLC or directly, indirectly Rock Nation, I'm not sure why they're named in it, but Rock Nation, um, there are these guidelines as well. Now, some companies totally frown upon sex or relationships in the workplace. Others will just try to tell you how to go about it um, in a professional way at a corporate level. They really will. You know, some people meet their husbands and wives at their job. You know, that comes with the territory. But there's that line of making somebody feel like their job could be at stake if I don't fulfill what the boss's request is. Here goes the boss allegedly asking me to come spend the night with him, and I don't want to. Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to now get over? Am I going to get more hours tacked onto my shift? Is my career going to be hurt? You know, Tyler Perry's going through a alleged similar lawsuit right now as well with that actor. You know, he's claiming that he lost money from his acting career because Tyler Perry was allegedly trying to sleep with him, and he wasn't, you know, getting with the program. You know, so this is nothing new. We've seen this before. The only sympathy I'd be trying to, I shouldn't say sympathy. The only objective side on the opposite that I like to throw out there is the reminder that we're in an era where sexual harassment is sometimes used in a way that I think is overkill sometimes. Definitely not all the time. If you feel like you're being forced or somebody no means no, they don't understand what that means, then you might feel uncomfortable, and then it is what it is, deal with the consequences. But if we work together, whether I'm your boss or your peer or I'm underneath you, if I happen to send you a text message that's just like, yo, you looking good, how about lunch or whatever, technically you could take that shit to HR, to a civil court, and say sexual harassment. I was just shooting my shot, you know? I was just shooting my shot. I had a girl that I worked with long time ago. We called her Z. Anybody that knows me from that era, you know who it is when I say Z, right? Beautiful girl. And I would see her around work a lot, and I waited, and I'm proud, and I watched, I stalked a little bit outside looking to see what she's about, asked a couple questions, whatever. All right, cool. And I think I sent her an email offering her lunch, but I kind of crafted the email so that you could catch the vibe like this is personal. But at the same time, I left that little professional piece in there, you know. And when we got to lunch, I made it clear, like I'm here for you. Like I'm not here for the company or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But she was with the program, and then we ended up dating. We ended up seeing each other. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna tell me in certain scenarios, technically, she takes that email and she takes that lunch proposal because she felt the department that I work in, this is part of the job. And then when I got there, I'm saying, yo, you got some beautiful eyes and all this shit. And she felt uncomfortable. And now she goes to HR or she goes to civil court saying sexual harassment. I feel like that happens out there. So you guys are just never gonna hire the ugly or the I shouldn't say ugly, the women that you're not attracted to. You're always gonna have the chicks that you would take down that you bring on board with you as well, right? And there lies the danger. It's that simple. I ain't even gonna belabor it. we'll continue to keep our eyes on it. It just is what it is.